Hello, welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real metaphysical and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week, it is at the time of recording, it is just now December 1st. So here in the community, everybody's ramping up for the new year. We're getting ready to do some community path workings, New Year's challenges, all those wonderful things. And one of the things in the community that we've talked about with our supporters is mental alchemy. And several of those supporters actually thought we should do a total community chat, invite the whole community to cover the topic as well as record it for YouTube. Now, I don't know exactly when this is going to be posted, but it should be before or right at New Year's, so everyone will be able to use this because we are talking about mental alchemy, alchemy of your identity, right? And you may wonder what the crap that has with New Year's, and that is fair. To be honest, mental alchemy has a great deal because it deals in your identity, your direct identity. And if you've ever tried to tackle any challenge by sheer discipline or willpower alone, only to you find it absolutely miserable to do it, or you get there, you accomplish your goal, and you immediately backslide back into your old habits, there's a reason for that. And I want to get into that. Not only are we going to show you how to make those changes easy, as opposed to being a pain in your rear, we're also going to make it enjoyable. So easy and enjoyable, right? That is what we're going to be doing here. Okay. And before we get started, if you are interested in taking part in these community chats live, every time we do one of these on a Monday, we record these live, and afterwards we open the floor to community discussion. If you'd like to join us, check out the Working Dragon Mystic community at workingdragonmystic.com. There'll be links below. We'd love to see you in the community. Anyone can join the community. It's absolutely free. There is a supporter section if you wish to become a supporter, but these chats are open to everybody. So there you go. Hope to see you there. Now let's get into this. Mental alchemy. Like I said, this can absolutely change your life, right? I've told many a person in my practice in the years and teaching, magic will not drastically change your life just by doing a spell or a ritual or something. It really won't. Magic needs something to grasp onto in order to create those changes. It needs pathways, or at the bare minimum, it's going to try and drag you along for those pathways. This simple process can actually give the magic something to latch onto, as well as magic or no magic, even if you don't want to practice magic. This simple concept of mental alchemy will create change in your life, okay? Now, the first thing we need to understand about this is a lot of people, when they tackle a goal, whether it's working out, losing weight, trying to become someone who cleans their house, someone who studies, someone who shows up places on time. I don't care what it is you're trying to improve. If you've thought of a New Year's resolution, you can use this on it. All right. Most people do it they try to do it by sheer discipline or willpower, and it's freaking hard. And the reason it's hard is your brain is literally hardwired to protect your identity, to protect what is your normal everyday you, right? So the moment you go against what you identify as you, your brain wants to shut it down. It wants to make you lazy. It wants to come up with every excuse. And your brain is a great and powerful tool to shut things down. Okay? It absolutely is. It will find every excuse for you not to mop the floor. It will find every excuse for you to be miserable doing dishes. It will do it. Okay? And that's not a problem. It sounds like a problem. And if all you did was use sheer discipline and willpower, it kind of is. Kind of is. But the Japanese came up with a concept called Kaizen that we're going to tap into, where we can actually get our brain on board with our goals. And not only do we not need sheer discipline and willpower, we will actually begin to enjoy doing the things we don't want to do, or the things that we're wanting to start doing. Like, you go from forcing yourself to work out to you actually start enjoying it. And the irony is, when you enjoy it and when it becomes a part of your identity, now you don't even have to start making yourself do it. your brain's going to naturally want to do it. See, your brain becomes your ally because of this concept. And we're going to go through those steps to get that identity shift. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about, though, is when we say identity, I don't mean your entire identity as a person, that everything that makes you you, right? When we are talking about a psychological identity, it's something like I'm somebody who works out, right? Being someone who works out, that doesn't consist of an entire Drake Valentine, right? This doesn't do it. But that is something I can shift and do. And that's actually, I'm using this in my life right now. I have for the last month, and I've been getting absolute phenomenal results, which is kind of sad because I learned this years ago and haven't applied it as much as I should have. It just happens. But when applied, it works amazingly. I've used it to conquer insomnia. I've used it to conquer all kinds of things in my life. Luckily, I was going through some journals and was reminded of this. And now we're going to share it with everyone here. So when we talk about identity, we're not talking about you're over encompassing who you are. We're talking about those little tiny bits, those little habits. Those, your brain recognizes those as identities. Okay. So those little things, okay, you can call it a habit, you can call it an identity, doesn't matter. It's going to work the same however you want to do it. And we're going to break this down into 4 steps, okay? And they're going to sound silly, but believe me, as silly as they sound, believe when I first heard it, all I wanted to do was laugh at the person who told me. That's all I wanted to do. Many of you know I don't really do frou-frou things, so I tend to giggle or roll my eyes when it sounds frou-frou-y. I was wrong on this one. This one works. Okay. So give it a try. Absolutely. Now, here we go. Step 1 is the statement of your chosen identity that you want to create, right? So let's say you actually want to be someone who cleans. All right. I know very few people who like to clean, but I do know a few. And this is one that I'm actually working on, and I believe even my wife is starting to work on this one because yeah, we're trying to we want to get in better cleaning habits because we don't like cleaning, but we want to become people who do enjoy it. So here we go. All right. We're going to use that as an example here. Okay. For this, you need a solid and direct statement of what you want. And now there's a difference in an identity and a goal. All right. A goal might be something you want to do. Like you might want to work out more. You might actually want to do the dishes more. Where an identity is more about actually becoming that. Like you want it to actually do that. You want to understand that we're not just trying to get a goal, because a goal states, I got here, I did it, right? It's like I did the dishes, I'm done. We want this to be a consistent, continual thing. All right. That is what we want to do. We want to build on that. So, very simply put, you would say, and there's 2 ways you can phrase it. And I would say, phrase it in the one that feels comfortable to you, feels right to you, doesn't feel stupid to you. One is, I am becoming someone who cleans, or I am someone who cleans, right? By stating that, you're actually going to, by becoming someone who cleans, you're admitting that you're building this habit, you admit that you're shifting it, but it's more about a long-term commitment to cleaning still. It's not just, I'm going to clean my house, right? Because once the house is clean, you're done. Goal met. That's not what we want. And if you state it as I'm someone who cleans, if you state it in the presence, which is actually the one I kind of like best personally, but it might be because I also have found that spell working works best when you state it in the present. So I just kind of keep my alchemy and my spell working consistently there. You know what I mean? But that could just be me. Try either one, try both of them, see which one works for you, do some experiments. And if you find one works better, give me some let me know in the comments below which of the 2 works better for you. Or if you've actually found a phrasing that doesn't necessarily fall into one of these 2 categories, let me know that as well. So you need it to be direct and simple. I am someone who cleans. Not hard to do, is it? Not hard at all, right? Now here's the kicker. I actually want you to tell yourself this. I want you to say it out loud. I want you to immediately just be like, I'm someone who cleans. I want you to write it in your journal. Okay. If you want to, feel free to write it in your journal. I do this when I'm working with this process. I will say it out loud and I will write it in my journal every day. What I am doing for this method. And remember, words have power, right? So not only are we thinking we're becoming someone who cleans, we're speaking it out. So that's why I want you to say it out loud. I know that part feels a little silly to some people, especially if you've not done a lot of intoning style magics, but it does make a huge difference. And this is one where I will say straight up, it is best to say it out loud, not in your head. Okay. Um, and you will notice all of my examples have been present tense, not future tense, not past tense. Got it? All right. Now, here's the thing. Once you've wrote it down, once you've said it out loud, I want you to take and do what is often referred to as immediate action reinforcement. Okay. Here's one of the things a lot of people do. They say, I'm going to start working out tomorrow. I'm going to start cleaning tomorrow. I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'm going to do this afternoon. No, not a zip, zero, zilch. So that ain't what I want you to do. What I want you to do is I want you to say, I am someone who cleans. I want you to say it out loud. I want you to put that phrase in your journal. And I immediately want you to go do something like cleaning. Now, here's the important part. Remember, we said discipline and willpower alone aren't really going to help. And the kicker, that's the funny thing. Right? Everybody's like, I have to just grind through and clean the entire bathroom. I have to clean the entire kitchen. I have to clean the entire house. And then I'm exhausted. No, we are going to develop these habits because we don't need to develop the habits on a large scale. We only need to get our brain to identify as someone who cleans. So we will actually be able to reap those rewards of that identity. This is where the immediate action reinforcement comes in because throughout our lives, we know words have power. Throughout our lives, we have said, I'm going to do this, and we didn't do it. I'm going to do this. We didn't do it. I have a New Year's resolution of this, and you didn't do it. We have literally taught our conscious and subconscious mind that we are lying who lie to ourselves, and we aren't going to follow through. And that's okay. So your brain's like, it's no worries. Don't follow through with it. That's normal. We need to break that. We need to reprogram the mind. So when you make your statement, you immediately get up and go do something that relates to the thing. In the case of cleaning, go do something that takes 2 to 5 minutes. Just clean something for 2 to 5 minutes. Wipe off the countertop, wipe off the stove, do 3 plates. I don't know how fast you clean. Wipe down your counter in your bathroom. Do something small. And when I say small, I don't care how tired you are, exhausted from work, you can do it, right? So even if it's only wipe off a plate and a cup and stick it in the dishwasher, that is something. Okay? Keep it small. If you're wanting to develop a workout routine, 2 freaking push-ups, 2 squats, 2 jumping jacks, 30-second plank, whatever. Just for like 2 to 5 minutes, do the activity. Immediately engage and do the activity. Okay? That's all I need you to do. Just immediately go do something. Even, I know it don't take 2 minutes to do 2 push-ups, but even those 2 push-ups, boom, boom, that is sufficient if you're wanting to build that identity of working out. The reason this is important, you have stated it out loud. Your brain has heard you say it, and you immediately follow it by actually doing the thing. Your brain doesn't know the difference between 2 push-ups and 100 push-ups. It really does not. Just like your brain doesn't know the difference between the week and the weekend. Your brain just doesn't register these concepts. So let's use this to our advantage. Don't worry about the numbers. Just do something, anything. Clean a plate, wipe a countertop. But do it. Don't take the pot and put it in the soak and just leave it. You want something that you can actually wash and put away. Wash, put away. You want the whole thing washed. If you just put it in the soak, your brain's not going to see that as a completion. That's why cleaning gets a little trickier. But if you're like wiping a countertop off completely, like fully just wipe off a countertop real quick, that's an easy one. Maybe wipe the floor, do something. Any little tiny thing will work. Pick up your laundry. That's part of cleaning, right? Pick up the floor. Make the bed. Anything like that. Okay? Now, the key points in this is it needs to be immediate. Honestly, it needs to be under 5 minutes or less. I'll be honest. It needs to be under 5 minutes or less. because I want this to be something you can do every day, no matter how tired or exhausted you are. Remember that? No matter how tired or exhausted you are, this is something you can do every day, regardless. Even if I got the flu, I can wipe a countertop off. Even if I got the flu, I could probably do a push up. Might not be a good push up, but I could do a push up. So anything you can do. And if you're like, Drake, I can't do a push up, do a wall push up. It'll still count. Even if I have the flu, I can put the comforter on the bed. I'm not going to be able to make the bed the same. Like my mom would look at me and say, that bed ain't made. Yeah, I probably couldn't do that when I got the flu. It passed my mom's muster, but I could still throw the comforter on there and square it up decent to say it's bed made. You know what I mean? Any little thing. I can also pick my laundry up, right? Any of those little things. It just needs to be doable under 5 minutes, but it must be real, actual movement toward that identity. Must be real, must be tangible, must be in the physical realm of, I am going to do this thing. This not only states it, your brain hears it, your brain comprehends it. This goes into immediate action. Your brain sees that you actually did do the thing, which makes the brain like, oh, this is okay, right? Because you didn't lie. You're following through. Your brain's starting to pick up on the fact that you didn't lie to it, or lie to yourself in that case. Then step 3, and this is actually very important. Remember, we don't want to rely on discipline and willpower. We want to actually want to do the thing, right? I want you to, after you do your 2 push-ups, after you wipe off that counter, after you do whatever it is you did, I want you to actually take the time, give yourself credit, and feel accomplished for doing the thing. I know it sounds silly. I know it sounds stupid. I essentially want you to pat yourself on the back for doing 1 push-up, 2 push-ups, wiping a counter, cleaning a bowl, whatever it is you did. I want you to pat yourself on the back, and I actually want you to genuinely feel grateful and thankful and feel good about yourself and feel accomplished for doing the thing. Okay? There's actual genuine reason here. Anytime you feel proud, anytime you make a statement of accomplishment, it triggers dopamine. Dopamine can be quite addictive. Dopamine feels good. That's why we like praise. That's why we like when we get things done, right? And if you can reward your brain, if you can show your brain that this is something you do the thing, you feel good, you begin to do that. And in all honesty, this is going to sound silly. When you finish, tell yourself, you told yourself you would do it. You did it. I want you to pause and out loud. I want you, if possible, and out loud acknowledge that you did the thing. Again, because you're using that verbal vibration to get it out there so you can hear it in your own ears verbally. You want to be able to do that. That dopamine hit is going to be very, very important. Okay. Now, I actually want you to just repeat steps 1, 2, and 3. That's the big kicker. Just 1, 2, and 3. Keep repeating those. In your daily life. Okay. And around day 7, your brain's going to start seeing a pattern. Because again, we're trying to get your brain to forget the old pattern and see a new pattern, right? And around day 7, your brain is going to start seeing this new pattern. And this new pattern, it's going to start, as it takes more and more notice of it, it's going to stop putting up, it'll put up less and less and less resistance. Okay. And that we're starting to get where we want to go. But I want you to keep doing this. And the time frames differ for everybody. I'm not going to say it's hard locked in, 7 days, flip a switch. Woo! It is a little different. So we're talking averages here, but around day 7, the brain will start to notice that pattern. The cool part actually sets in around day 30 because your brain is now going to stop recognizing this as a temporary pattern and recognizing it as a permanent pattern. And this is now going to become something your brain will actually start to help you remember. If you forget to make your bed, you're going to feel guilty. You're going to feel that twinge. Have you ever known you need to do something like brush your teeth? Brush your teeth is usually a good example. If you leave the house without brushing your teeth, you just feel weird, like you feel awkward. right? And people's like, well, of course your breath stinks. Okay. Um, who all here wears watches regularly? You ever leave the house without a watch? You feel naked. You're not naked, but you feel it because you always have that watch. You're someone who wears that watch. Watch is part of your identity. Um, Wedding rings can be the same thing, or any ring for that matter. Necklaces, hats. Um, there's plenty of things that when they're part of our everyday life, we remember them. When our brain will help it kick in, we will feel awkward as hell. Wallets, guys. Have you ever been going down the road and had that panic attack and had to check? Oh God, do I have my wallet? Your brain is protecting that identity as someone who carries the wallet, someone who wears a watch, someone who wears a ring, someone who wears a hat. It is kicking in that negative reinforcement, that guilt, that ping of panic, whatever it may be, to get you to do the thing. And as it recognizes this as a permanent pattern, if you don't do your push-ups, if you don't do your dishes, if you don't wipe the countertops off, if you don't do some form of cleaning, the same thing's going to hit. No matter what you're doing, you'll be sitting there and it's going to pop in your brain like, oh shit, did I do the thing? And you're going to go do the thing because it's easy. Instead of your brain wanting you to sit and be lazy or not do the thing or avoid the thing, your brain's now spurring you to do the thing. Think about it. How much easier would it be to work out if your brain actually is reminding you and encouraging you to go work out, right? So you feel kind of lousy because, oh, crap, I didn't work out today. You feel guilty. But then if you go work out and you're like, well, crap, I didn't go work out, but I still could squeeze a small workout in this afternoon. And when you do work out, you get a dopamine hit. You feel great. It boosts your mood. It like reduces stress and everything because your brain wants you to feel good about doing this thing. It's part of your identity now, right? And that's where step 4, which I don't know why they really call it a step usually, but that's where step 4 officially kicks in. That is where your brain kicks in and starts. Not only does it create the new identity officially as someone who works out, someone who cleans, but your brain actively starts to protect that identity, just like it would do things to stop you from changing your original pattern. It now identifies this and it will protect it. Okay. And you may be wondering, Drake, well, if your brain now identifies that as, how does that help me work out? How does that help me clean my house? Notice for like 30 days, we did something so freaking small, right? That no matter how tired we were, no matter how exhausted we were, we could do it. 1 to 2 push-ups, wipe a counter, clean a bowl, just make your bed, whatever it may be, something so small, right? So small. Okay. That small thing got your brain to expect you to do the thing, to create that identity as someone who does this thing, like work out. You didn't say I'm someone who does push-ups, did you? You said I'm someone who works out. You didn't say I'm someone who wipes counters. You said I'm someone who cleans, right? Yes, those actions directly tied into working out or cleaning. So the identity is based around the larger concept, even though you did this tiny little thing, this tiny little thing. And now that you have this identity, now you can use this. Because now when you go clean the kitchen, you're not miserable. It's just something you do. Cleaning the whole kitchen is no different than wiping a counter to you because you're someone who cleans, right? And when you go to start let's say you want to do a full calisthenics routine, you're going to do push-ups, you're going to do planks, you're going to do squats, you're going to do leg raises, or maybe you're going to go to the gym and actually work on powerlifting, or maybe you want to hit the treadmill, work on a marathon, whatever it is. Your brain now identifies you as someone who does this. And now you will actually want to do it. Your brain's going to remind you to do it. And when you do it, you're going to feel good. You're not going to feel like crap when you do it. You're actually going to genuinely feel good, accomplished, even. It is going to be a highlight of your day. So, yes, we started super, uber freaking small. But once that identity's there, You can do a regular workout routine easy peasy. And what I would do, like in cleaning, we clean every day. That one's easy. One question for people who's like, I want to start working out. Well, there's different styles of workout routines. There are daily routines. And then there's people who's like, well, I want to do full body workouts 3 days a week. This is a daily thing. Right. I had you doing something small daily for 30 days. I would still encourage you to do your full body routine on whatever 3, 4 days a week you're doing, but do something every day that consists of some kind of workout, even if it's a light jog, just a few push-ups, a bit of a warm-up workout, so that your body does get the rest, but at the same time, you still get the full body workouts. That's generally what I would recommend. But you got to do you. Okay. The whole point here is you're literally getting in and you're hacking and using your mind's strengths, right? Usually, what we end up doing because we don't understand this, we fight against our mind's strengths. Essentially, our own mind is fighting against us in reaching the goals we want to reach. This simple, basic process, this ability to transform and create an identity that actually runs directly toward the goal you're trying to reach, make sure your brain, your mind is working for you, not against you. And you will actually find that you genuinely want to do the thing. And if you don't do the thing, you're going to feel weird about it, right? You're going to be sitting there like something's wrong, something's off. I forgot something. And it's going to help you to remember to do those things. And when you do them, you're going to feel better. Your brain is going to inspire you to do it. It's going to work with you, not against you. I highly recommend everyone give this a try, especially in the new year with whatever it is you're wanting to do. It can take a little bit of brain work and power to think of how to apply it to different goals and everything, but you can do it. And like I said, the Japanese call this concept Kaizen, which is essentially, hold on, I got a definition here somewhere for it. I think this is where I tucked it away. Yeah, continuous improvement through very small changes, right? Um, it's it's very simple. It's a very small change, and that continues to build upon itself. And it works. It hands down works. If you're wanting to eat better or lose weight, um, focus on the eating better. Don't focus really on the lose weight. Focus on the eating better. Focus on the habits that are going to cause you to lose weight, like eating better, and work on doing those things daily. Um, Honestly, there's nothing wrong with mixing two identities together. You could literally be like, I'm someone, I know someone, in fact, who literally uses this because they started doing OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, right? So they would literally go through, and the way they done it, I found interesting because they set it up so they literally stated they're not someone who eats breakfast, they're not someone who eats lunch, um, and they would purposely, or they said, I only have coffee for breakfast and I only have water for lunch, is what they did. Because you need it to be proactive, right? So they set it up that way so that when it was breakfast time, they had their coffee and they had their coffee and they stated they followed the process. Same thing for lunch. And then for dinner, the statement was, I am someone who does OMAD, and they would eat their food. And they made sure that it was a healthy, full meal, that kind of thing. But it worked. And they done that for, what was it, 30 to 45-ish days. And now they don't even have to try. They get up, they have their coffee and water, and they actually had problems drinking enough water too before they started it. So they actually built the habit of drinking water, which was a big help to them as well. Um, so yeah, they had to get a little creative and tweak it and ultimately create 3 personalities to get to their goal. But I thought it was kind of ingenious, right? Because ultimately, each one of those statements throughout their day builds to the ultimate goal they were working to. And I want to say he is down 20 something, 30 something pounds now, something like that. I may have to steal his idea. I may have to steal his idea. Um, so you can get creative and you can do it. And the thing is, you'll notice not a whole lot of discipline. Doesn't take a lot of discipline to do a push up or two. Doesn't take a lot of discipline to wash a bowl. Might take a little, Might take a little, but it's a lot different than trying to start a full workout routine or a full daily clean a whole room. You know what I mean? So think this over. Think how you can apply this. If you have questions or whatnot, drop them in the comments below. I will do my best to help you troubleshoot or come up with ideas to make it work. Again, consider joining the Working Dragon Mystic community. Again, links below because we have wonderful conversations in the chat all the time about stuff just like this. And you can ask the community their thoughts and opinions and how they've answered some of these questions and how they've utilized it and get a broader spectrum than just even asking me. But I'm always in that community Monday through Friday. You can tag me and get a hold of me pretty easy in there. And then, of course, if you would like to support our channel and the work we do, become a supporter. It's only $10 a month. You get access to all the online classes. You get access to supporter-only workshops and projects. This in the new year, we have a 6-month pathworking coming up for supporters only. Not only are we going to be going through a self-improvement, self-empowering path working, but we're also going to be teaching supporters how they can take anything and make their own custom path workings. So it's really going to be a great 6 months in that. Okay. All right, everybody, that is it. That is the simplicity of mental alchemy and alchemy of the personality. I would highly, highly recommend you give it a try. I know it sounds so simple, it can't work, but actually, in reality, the simplest things end up being the most powerful things because they're easy to stick to, and consistency over perfection will get you farther every time. Until next time, everybody, I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Bye-bye.